Hey Phil, how are you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm doing good. We're traveling through the mountains in the western part of the U.S. right now. So,
Absolutely. Now, you mean the tour is on and you guys are unleashing the new tunes. How have the fans responded to these, new material?
oh, really, really, really well. It is a little. When we start playing new songs, it is a little. You do get a little nervous. You're not sure how they're going to go over live, how people are going to respond live. But it's been really cool. The record just came out. Most of the songs that we've been playing, or the songs that we've been playing, have been available for a couple of weeks now. So people seem to be really enjoying them, and it's a lot of fun. Everyone seems to have a good time.
Awesome. That's really cool. Now, the order of things is, released yesterday. So, how have the fans responded to this album in an entirety? How has been the response? Some positive response from the fans?
Uh, every time we put out a record, it seems like there's a certain group of people that are saying, this
Mm-hmm.
we want you to sound like you sounded 10 years ago, and that's just not going to happen. We don't sound like we sounded 10 years ago because we're not the same people that we
Absolutely.
were 10 years ago. So, even if we tried to put out a record that was like one of our first few records, we couldn't do it because we're just not the same people. People grow, people change, and that's just the way it is. So, um, and they're very vocal, but they're a minority because if you go, I go through my Twitter feed or my Facebook page and stuff, and it's overwhelmingly positive comments about the record. The record,
Mm-hmm.
we're really excited about it. It's a really, really good record. The songs are really strong, and so people are going to talk, and people are going to make noise, and people are going to criticize and stuff. But they're a small minority compared to the people that have said how have
Right.
left the marks or whatever, saying that they really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Like you
So
said, few people opposed it and a larger chunk of people liked it. So what I feel is it's always about how creative the band is and something what you guys want to create. You don't want to replicate what you have done already.
and that's what we try to do. On this record, if you look at a song like if you look at a song like Pernicious, that's a little different than we normally do. Or if you look at a song like um, what's the song called? I'm still learning the normal names of it. Sea Empire. There's parts in that one that I'm singing falsetto, and in the bridge, and in Pernicious, Jeannie has a singing part that's solo
Right.
parts. And we try to do new things every record, and we try different and new things every record because we want to always have things that are evolving and stuff.
Absolutely. Now all that remains have always, consistently delivered quality heavy metal albums, and you guys have, shown how evolution of the band is. Each and every album is different. So is it something you guys do it? Does it happen, on you? Easily, or is it just something which you decide like before you write the album that we are going to try out something else? Does it come naturally now? Something trying new every album.
Yeah, it's very natural. When we get together and write, our basic philosophy is: do we like it? If we like it, then we use it. There's a lot of bands out there that write records and when they write riffs and stuff, they'll say, "Does this sound like us?"
Right.
And I don't think that that's a good way to look. I don't think it's a good way to look at writing music because at the end of the day, you're supposed to be an artist.
Mm-hmm.
So if you write it, then of course it sounds like you because you wrote it. So you can use it. I don't like the idea of having to, this isn't a knock on any band, but like Slayer, they
Right.
put out records and I'm sure that when they write, I'm sure they're like, does this sound like Slayer? I'm sure that they listen to other kind of music and stuff. And when they're writing a Slayer record, they make sure that it sounds like Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
And for me and for the guys in all the earnings, we don't want to be in that position. We want to go ahead and say, do we like it? If we like it, then we use it, and then it automatically sounds like all the earnings because we put it out.
Absolutely. That's really well said. And I gotta say, while listening to the album, it's got that perfect combination of melody and metal. I mean, you have tracks like This Probably Won't End Well, which is has got crazy hooks and melodies, and then you have track like No Knock, which is the heaviest stuff. So everything has been mixed perfectly on this album.
Thank you. I mean, that's something that, I feel like I think that a record or songs, when you're writing a record, it should, and this is just my opinion, but I think it should be a reflection of you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're always heavy and always intense, then it's not a reflection of the person. It's a reflection of one side of everybody has different feelings, emotions, different things they like. I mean, everybody likes different kinds of food.
Right.
Like if you had to eat one kind of food for the rest of your life, you'd want to kill yourself,
True.
And I want to do that,
That's really cool. Now, Phil, I mean, your vocal, you ignite that stadium size hook. I mean, there's more singing, man. There are less growls, and those crazy melodic vocals have been really soothing for me as a fan. Was it something intentional to do something out of box on this album?
I'm a big fan of vocal hooks. I'm not the stadium size kind of sing along stuff. I mean, that's what that's what I want to hear when I listen to music. I want to hear earworms. I want to listen to the song 2 times, and if I can write a song that has like 3 or 4 choruses in it, and by the 3rd chorus, the listener remembers it and already knows can sing along with it, then I feel like I've done my job. Because I got something that people, that hits people and that they can remember and that sticks with them. And I think if you're writing really complex stuff, you're not writing big hooks, then it goes in one way and goes out the other.
Absolutely right. Now, how is it working with Josh? I mean, he's the guy known for stuff like Lamb of God, Gojira, and then, there's All That Remains. How was this collaboration working together with Josh?
It was great. When we were first starting to talk, when we were first looking to work with Josh, I knew he could Gojira and Lamb of God. And so I was a little apprehensive. I was like, well, if he's only done metal, is he going to come in and want us to be, this heavy metal machine and all, we can understand that we like hooks and that we like to have, we like a polished sound, and then I found out that he was, won a Grammy for mixing stuff on the Voice for Beyond the Voice, which is a TV show in the United States, and we've worked with a lot of different pop stars and stuff like that as an engineer and stuff. So, well, okay, if you know that stuff, Andy knows metal, then that you'd probably be a good fit for all of them. That's kind of what we do.
Right.
And then when we actually did start working with him and got together, it was wonderful. He's a brilliant guy, really creative, really fun to be around, easy to work with, and his family's great. He's just like, I can't say enough good things about Josh.
Awesome. I mean, this is the first album I think you have actually written with somebody outside the band. I mean, this is the first time in All That Remains catalog to see Josh and you writing together the lyrics for the album.
Yeah. I mean, usually, from up until now, it's always been kind of my thing. When I came in with stuff, Josh would just do that thing, if you get stuck on something or whatever, I can come up with ideas too, and I'll just offer them. And when he offers them, it's very comfortable. He doesn't have an agenda with the lyrics. All he wants is a good song, and he wants something that's cool. So with that kind of perspective, there's no ego or anything, and it's just a comfortable work environment.
Right, that's really cool. And Phil, I mean, I came across few statements where you mentioned that this album is far and way better than your last one. Why do you feel A War Within wasn't, successful, or maybe that you were not happy with it?
I think the songs are just better. I think that, Last Record had 2 of our biggest songs ever, at least in the U.S., and Stand Up was number 1 at rock radio for a few weeks, and What If I Was Nothing was number 2 for ages. So, I mean, the last record wasn't bad. I just think that this record night and day better. I think the mix and the production are better. The sonically, the quality's better. So I think that it kind of films what I was looking for the record to do that everyone else would do.
Wow, that sounds really good. And you also said that there's nothing edgy about heavy metal anymore. And do you really think that heavy metal has reached that saturation point right now?
I think that heavy metal is. I think that heavy metal is like a lot of other things. If you don't fall in line with what you're supposed to do, then you're not. Then you get kicked out of heavy metal. By certain people, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, then you get excommunicated. It's like and so that means that you're not allowed to take chances in heavy metal. You're not allowed to experiment, because if you do, then you're not heavy metal. So that means that if that's the case, then you can't be edgy. You can't push the envelope. You can't try new things. And in the States, when it comes to the acceptable ideas, there's certain things that are allowed and certain things that aren't allowed. So I think that very few people, regardless of what genre of music you listen to or what clothes you wear, very few people have the courage to stand up and be themselves.
Right.
And I think that that's a shame. So.
Absolutely, and that's what I like about you. I mean, you prefer to be an antagonist. I mean, you have your own opinions about things, and then there's something called freedom of speech. And whenever you say something, fans seem to, do a counter attack on you. Is that something, which annoys you, that whatever you say is always being taken, let's say, in a negative way?
I don't know if I'd say it's annoying, but I think you're right. I definitely have opinions that are not politically correct, and they're the incorrect opinions. But the thing is, I think that people that have the correct opinion, I think they're most of the time wrong, because they're sheep. I think that you have to, if you're going to be an independent thinker, you have to be able to be willing to risk upsetting people. You have to be able to say, no, you're wrong, and this is what's actually true, and then handle the backlash, because there's going to be backlash.
The backlash is always there, and it's somewhat very weird when I see all these musicians and the public, let's say the news guys in general, the journalists picking these statements and making that as a headline, and eventually highlighting everything which is actually wrong.
Yeah, that happens. I can't tell you how many times I've said, I've done an interview, and then when I see the interview, the headline is a little bit taking what I said and twisting it around a little bit, and all I can do is just be like, Jesus fucking Christ, really? That's really kind of just what I'm at. Like, at this point, it's like, all right, fine, you guys are idiots, whatever. I just blow it off, because it happens all the time.
That's wonderful, Phil. Now, what are the plans of touring for rest of this year? Are you guys playing any festivals? I think I saw you guys on Download catalog today.
Yeah, Download, and I know that we're going to be doing some festivals and shows in Germany. I don't know what's been announced, so I don't want to say anything yet, but I know that we will be in Germany this year in the summertime.
Oh, cool. So any European tour coming up, or you will just be touring US right now?
Yeah, right now we're on tour in the U.S. with In Flames. We're heading to Utah today. And then we'll be on tour in the U.S. for the next probably 4 weeks. Then we get a couple of weeks off, then we do another U.S. tour, and then we head over to Europe for the Download Festival and some other stuff.
Awesome. Now, Phil, it was an honor having a chat with you. Now, how about you define the new album, Order of Things, in just one sentence?
The best record you're going to hear this year.
Bingo! That's amazing, dude. That's really amazing. I just wish you all the best for whatever you guys do in future. I mean, it's amazing to see what you guys do, and I, as a fan, all the way from India, it's really an honor.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much. That's so cool.